Friends, denizens of the internet, hello, welcome back to another exciting episode over here at Lost Time Gaming. Today we are checking out something new as our Wednesday slot became free last week. We are jumping into Forza Horizon 4. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's a racing game. That's about as complicated as I can make it in the simplest amount of words. Is you race cars, and it's like a festival of car racing depicted in kind of cartoonized but real places. I believe this one takes place in the United Kingdom outside of Edinburgh, and I may have that wrong because I didn't fact check any of this, but needless to say, that's not what's important. The environments and stuff in this game are beautiful, but that's not why we're here, because of cars. And now if you're wondering, well, yeah, Devo, that's great, but I mean, this car looks like it's from the Stone Age, and you'd be more or less right. This is a 1966 Hillman Imp. And a cursory look tells you this car is old as dirt. Not the oldest car ever made, but it is pretty old. So that being said, let's see if we can hop in here and take a look at the interior. Get in there. There we go. And one of the things I love about this game is it has the old school, just completely retro interiors for all of these cars. Even like look at how lonely that stick shift looks. It looks so sad. But as you can see, there's not much going on here, which would, be indicative of a car from 1966 in the United Kingdom. And apart from that, there's not much else to say about this car, so we might as well just hop out and drive it. And again, you might be thinking to yourself, why are we going to drive this car? This looks stupid. Oh, and there's my avatar there. There's not much wiggle room in the way of avatar agency. Oh, hold on a sec. I forgot I left the music on because I'm an idiot. There we go. We'll put some classical music on. I don't know how any of the music may react to the YouTube algorithm, and you may not even see this because of that. I may have to reshoot this whole episode with the audio off. So that being said, let's get out and hit some. Now, as you may be realizing, this car just buried the speedometer at 90, and we're still climbing speed. In a city, no less. Suffice to say, this car has about 800 horsepower and weighs about 1,500 pounds. Now, a quick physics calculation makes that totally insane. If you couldn't pick up on that, that makes this car a freaking Firefly on cocaine. And it's a madman. And one of the things I love about this game is that it's equal parts wish fulfillment and just good fun. Because you can't really destroy the cars, as in was a huge issue back in the original Gran Turismo days. Oh, I didn't even see that. I always forget we're in the United Kingdom. We drive on the left side here. Back in the Gran Turismo days, they wanted to do realistic damage and stuff for the cars, but they couldn't because that would require them to actually destroy the cars in real life and then model it for the game. And as you may come to the conclusion without any assistance that people don't want to have their cars destroyed for no reason, especially when, in a game like Gran Turismo, it's like a $750,000 car. You're not going to destroy it. Now this car is not $750,000. Honestly, it's from the 60s though, so I assume if you actually got one, it would be worth some money to a collector somewhere. But they certainly wouldn't strap a massive engine in it and give this thing almost like it's got a single horsepower almost per 2 pounds of weight, and that's an insane combination. Now, it's not the fastest car I have in my arsenal, as I do have an arsenal of cars. And for full disclosure, I do not have every car in this game, and I do not have all the fastest cars in this game. That being said, don't hit the house. That being said, I just wanted to do a showcase here, maybe 1 or 2 episodes of just how awesome and fun it can be to play this game. Now, a couple of things before I get further into this is that if I do any races, please just disregard sometimes people's unfortunate name choices, because this is an online connectivity game. Now, I'm not in the online mode right now. I like to play offline, because while I do like racing cars and customizing them and like making them go ludicrously fast, I don't like competition. Mostly because I'm terrible at everything, and every time I compete in any level whatsoever, I fail. And now that's on me, obviously, but I've come to realize that competing is fine, but I absolutely do not like to lose, and there's a non-zero chance when you compete in something against other people, you're going to lose. So, I just don't do that. Oh, yep, that's fine. That's totally fine there. So, what I do in this game is, honestly, a lot of the game I enjoy is just driving around. Because, as you can see, the environments are just gorgeous here. And it's fun to just take a car from the 60s and power slide it through the roads of the United Kingdom, just like the craziest person that ever lived. Oh, we're going off-road, yeah! And that's another great thing. Oh, no, we rolled it. We are dead. We are dead. In reality, you'd be dead there. You would be dead there. That's another thing I like about this game is that, oh, you missed that turn? I'll just drive into the fields of this lovely countryside and just tear it to crap. And the game's totally okay with that. Just smash into other people. Yeah, take that, you. Why don't you get up out of here? Run you right off the road. And if you're connected in the online way, these people, some of these cars, not all of these cars, are people driving around. Now, normally they have names above them. You know which ones are the players and which ones are just, random NPC cars. But some of these, and you'll usually still be able to tell, like that one probably was, some of the more fancy-looking cars are, like, cars a player has, but it's not them driving, it's just like an NPC subroutine, I'd wager. See if we can catch up to this one here. I don't think we can. He's cruising pretty good. But that being said, there's so much to talk about this game, and it's such a fun experience. It has drawbacks, like any car game would, especially an online one. Let's take it sideways here for a second and give you a nice look at this thing just completely being insane driving around this town. Oh no, look out. Oh, too hard. Alright. Okay, well, I'd wager that's it for the end. We've had some fun in the end, but we should probably bust out something else, to be honest. Because, I mean, well, let's just take a quick look at all the cars I have so far. Oh, that looped over. No, it didn't. No, I was going to say, I think it looped over somewhere, but yeah. Suffice to say, there's a lot of cars in this game, and sadly, because the nature of the gaming industry, there are a non-zero amount of cars that are behind a DLC paywall that I can't even get. But the good thing about this game is that it allows me to drive cars I'll never afford or be able to drive in my entire life. Not necessarily the Peel Trident, 1965, but stuff like, say, a 1969 GTO Judge, which is my dream car. Now, obviously, out of all the cars there to be, GTO Judge is a pretty good choice. I mean, just look at this thing. This thing just looks sick in the most 90s way possible. And I didn't know about the Judge, but the headlights are actually under the grille there. Like the two right next to the right of the GTO symbol there. Those panels actually drop down and headlights come out. Oh, see, there it is. I didn't even do that. Thanks, GTO. But this car is a mean machine. This car has about 1,500 horsepower. Now, I could slap a supercharger that would stick up out of the hood there, but that's, I don't know, like, other than just being totally aggro as humanly possible, why you would ever do that, because it literally sticks up out of the hood and obscures your vision. So that would be, bad, but let's check out and see what this does. Because this is my favorite car, just in the reality of the world that is cars, and I just really enjoy that. Oh, there's one of the things about the festival we can get into where there's just speed traps, not to get you a ticket, but to see how fast you can go through a certain area. Now, 132 is 132 is not that fast, but as you can see, the faster we go, this thing has plenty of room to stretch its legs. Oh, I thought I was gonna power slide around you. I did not. Let's see if we can find a more plausible place to test this thing. By driving through this person's yard! Oh, okay, and we're dead. You hit a tree at 160 miles an hour, you're dead. That's just the way it works. But I like that roads are optional. That's a huge bonus in my book, just because while there's something to be said about having a driving sim that's, you know, almost true to life accuracy as far as mechanics, there's something to be said about just good, awesome, unadulterated, kind of sugar high fun almost, and that's what this car is. You know, driving this car in real life, oh no, it's heavy. It's heavy. Driving this car in real life would be way less fun than this because, one, you couldn't, you would never drive a car like this. Like, you would never drive a 1969 Pontiac GTO in this fashion, driving it through stone walls and just being an absolute punce, basically. You would not do that. But it is so great to do. And normally I drive in the kind of driver's eye view, so you can see the hands on the wheel. It's a really cool experience. The controller vibrates with the shifting and all that good stuff. But sometimes it is nice just to enjoy the car driving. It's really hard to look sideways while you're driving. I used to do stuff like that in Grand Theft Auto 4. You had the cinematic cam where you could just hold circle and it gave you like a really cool look at your car. I used to try and drive around just with cinematic cam. Suffice to say, it's very difficult. So this is my all-time fave in this game. This is the bread and butter as far as if I had infinite money, first car I would get be one of these. Probably in glossy black, maybe with some racing stripes, like twin racing stripes running down the center would probably be on that list of things to get. But this would be my car. And again, it's sad, but you could never actually drive this car like this. Because, oh, you're dead. hit a stone wall at 100 miles an hour, you're dead. You know, fail to brake through an intersection and T-bone somebody like that, you're dead. Even though this car was probably almost certainly made out of solid steel, as far as the paneling and stuff, you'd just be dead. But it is still very fun to drive. Oh, that was a real wall. That hurt a little bit. Power slide. Yes. Oh, we're losing control. There we go. Just gotta... And now this game isn't, it's not completely realistic, physics, but it feels like pretty close. Like, most games when you drive, there's something inherently phony about the way a car feels when you drive it. But this game, it feels like they got it pretty close. And it's funny, I tried to play another racing game recently, as I'm not a big racing game fan. I think it was Assetto, or Assetto's one of the games that's like, you know, almost realistic driving physics that people actually like e-race in competitions for, with like the big fancy setup with the chair and the wheels and all that jazz. But I couldn't enjoy that game at all. It was terrible. I mean, it was probably a great sim, but they lost the game in lieu of chasing the title sim. And, you know, that's fine. There is a crowd for the sim racing gamer, but it's not me. As much as I love the Gran Turismos, I felt like they lost the point about fun at some point. That being said, let's see how fast we can get this thing going here. 215. Woo! Oh, we're dead. We're dead. No, we're still good. We're going. Even though driving through a barbed wire fence would almost certainly kill you at that speed. Alright, let's dial it back. Ooh, you're dead. That's half the fun of this game for me, is just driving around hilariously unsafe and just being like, hey, you're dead. Oh, and another great thing about this game? Oh, roundabout? I'll see you in hell, roundabout. There's nothing sweeter than driving through a roundabout directly straight through at over 200 miles an hour. It's just so good. So, this is the GTO Judge, my favorite car of all time. Let's take a look at some other people's favorite cars of all time, because I have some. Now, we got the Judge. Let's see, I asked a couple of people what their cars were of choice, and I believe I asked my mom what her favorite car of all time was, and oddly enough, it's the Mustang GT Coupe. And she's a huge purple fan, so I made it purple for her. It's a two-tone, but I'm an idiot with two-tone paint, so it doesn't really look all that two-tone. But I think it's a metal flake as well, but it just... This thing's pretty sweet. Now, if I can here, let's get a burnout on these tires. This thing has about 1,500 horsepower, too. Nice. Now, this is pretty similar to the GTO Judge in terms of it's an American muscle car, and obviously I'm just driving through everything possible right here, but there's something to be said about getting to drive, even if it's only digitally, a hilariously expensive classic muscle car with no strings attached, no worries about scratching the paint job or getting your skin oils left on the interior because the interior's classic and can't be reupholstered. There's just something so inherently fun about just kind of being a jerk to a classic car and having it be okay. It's so good. And I love that the hand actually, when we're dead, I love that the hand actually reaches down to shift when you look at the side view. Now I try to drive with the side view, but it's something else. Because as you can imagine, trying to drive properly like this can be a bit of a pain. So much so that I'm gonna stop doing it. And honestly, I really enjoy the kind of first-person view they have. There's another one where it's like more zoomed in towards the windshield, but there's something about this that really gets you feeling like you're driving the vehicle. Well, the road was there somewhere. We lost it. It's here somewhere. Now, just imagine the damage you would do to this car if you just, yeah, we're gonna take this Mustang GT Coupe off-roading. Oh, and you're dead. Like, and you're dead again. And I don't know for certain, but I swear all of these interiors for these old cars are as close to realistic as possible. Oh, excuse me, friend. Alright, well, that's the GT Coupe. A sweet, sweet looking car. That if there ever was one. Now, if you want to see an ugly car that's awesome, I got one of those too. My grandmother had a old clunky Buick when I was young, and I just regard it as the worst car ever. So I decided to soup up one and give it like the crap paint job. So we've got this rusted, janked up Buick with a supercharger sitting at the top. And it's just, this is also good fun. Smoked rims, because you gotta have those. Woo! And the supercharger actually functions, which is hilarious. I was kind of curious about whether or not that would work. But it does, more or less. Oh, and this car is a heavy beast as well. Oh, sorry, friend, excuse me. Yep, you're coming with me, buddy. Nope, we're going on this hell ride together. Oh no, there's water. Look out now. This is not a rally car. This is not a rally car, but we are taking it on rally stage. Why? Because I've got nothing better to do. Oh, we almost flipped it there. Woo, we're flying. There's something so fun about just driving a car with a massive supercharger sticking out the front, just directly off a cliff ledge and just seeing how far it flies. And I mean, granted, that's where the driving realism, I believe, starts to take a hit, because you just can't do that. Oh, that was a cliff. Yep, I don't know where I am now. Let's get out of here. I think we're on the edge of a town. Just look at the dials going crazy. Just woo! Oh, we're dead. Yep, see, you're dead. That's it. I should start keeping track of how many times I've died while driving, just in this episode alone. On the railroad tracks. Yep, that's not a good idea. Don't ever do that. Alright, so the Buick, I believe this is a Regal. I don't even know what that is, because the car I was talking about that was my grandparents', I don't think it was this particular make. But I remember when they got it new, it was the first time I noticed that a brand new car is incredibly quiet on the inside when you drive it. Whereas like an old clunker, you can pretty much hear anything happening outside of your vehicle. Oh, alright. That's enough of the Buick. Mostly because I just want to showcase some cars this episode. Maybe if we do another episode, we can do some racing. Because honestly, that you can race against the CPU, and I have the difficulty stretched out to where it's not the easiest thing ever, but it's not the most difficult thing ever either. But that being said, what do I want? Oh, if we're gonna do off-roading, might as well take this thing. This was the first car I got in this game that, like, I won this car and was like, well, I've heard of this car company. It's a Lancia, and I'm gonna probably say this wrong, but Stradale? Yeah, and as you can tell, this thing's got a roll cage in it too. And this car is just insane. It's got a black chromatic paint job. You could kind of see it as we spin around here. But this car is just, it feels unsafe. It's just, we're going 100 miles an hour. No. We won't rally, but not that way. If I can get this thing on a road, the acceleration this thing has is pretty absurd. It's not on the level with a hypercar, but... And I do have a couple of those. We'll check one of those out next. This thing is just grease lightning. If I could stop driving it directly into everything ever invented by man. And it can be difficult to do because I haven't fine-tuned the settings for this car. You can actually just download somebody else's like settings for a car. And one of the things that like you can do is you can modify the parts and stuff like that from the car, but you can also just download somebody's settings. And the settings that I had made this car about like a 700 out of a 999 max. And the setting I downloaded pushed this car at like the 900 region. So I was like, yeah, let's try that. And it just, you get into it and it's just a madman. This actually was so powerful in the first couple of rally courses I tried to do that it would fly off of hills and do a front flip. Like, you're supposed to just kind of land soft on the other side and keep going, but no, this car was going so fast, it was like front flip time. Take this bad boy off-road. Oh yeah, that's nice, that's the stuff. And like I said, there is a whole spectrum of races to be done here. Off-road races, street races, cross-country races where it's a little bit of street, a little bit of off-road. And it's just fantabulous. There's a lot to like about this game. Like I said, I do have some complaints. Ooh, and we're dead. That, like, after a race, sometimes you'll have a forced advertisement for the game's DLC, which I don't own. And I don't know if it goes away once you have the DLC. That's pretty egregious to have an unskippable cutscene to advertise your, like, DLC expansions. That's a bit much. Oh, wait, I need that. And because this is an online open world game, there's stuff like this where you get points and level up and... Oh yeah, we didn't really take a look at the map, did we? I've just been driving around like a madman. Let's take a look at this map. This map is huge. As you can see, we're kind of driving around the outskirts of Edinburgh. Come down here, there's these places that I'm sure are real, but I don't know what they are, so I can't really guarantee you they are real. There's all kinds of wacky stuff in here. But what we need to do is we should probably go to about here. Wager that seems like a good point, because as you can see, this little interchange here connects to a nice, more or less straight highway system. So let's get over there.
Around when it is safe to do so.
Thank you, GPS. Yes, right into the wall. Yeah, Roy. Yeah, just an insane amount of power in this car. And this doesn't... The sad thing is like, while this car is insane, and I probably would never drive this in real life because it's so insane.
400 yards. Turn left.
Okay. It doesn't even touch the hypercars, which are in a league of their own with all kinds of science and automobile wizardry going on under the hood. That you basically need a physics degree to even comprehend the level of what they're doing, let alone know what they're doing actively.
Take the second exit.
Those were words, right? Roundabout, huh? Excuse me. I'll just drive into this building here and don't find me. Alright, okay. Just gotta get out of Edinburgh first. Let's go, go, go. We're not to hit people this time. On the map, you can see we're gonna have some sort of issue coming up there with the change to the left. And hard braking now. Hard braking now. There we go. We got it. Excuse me. Excuse me. Pardon me. Ooh, ghost cars. Fancy. I am terrible at driving. I'm actually a really good driver. I'm bad at racing driving. Mostly because there's so much to consider when you're driving a car at high speeds. It's way different than anything else, pretty much.
Take the first exit.
Oh, we're gonna take the first exit, all right. We're gonna take the exit right here.
You have arrived at your destination.
Thank you, thank you. Let's get into something a little more serious, shall we? Let's go down here and we'll sort this by... Nope. Sort this by Hypercar. Hypercar. Now, you probably heard of supercars, but have you heard of hypercars? Probably not. And we've got quite a bit of those. Not as many, but let's take a look at some of the ones that look amazing but aren't the best. Like this this Zaruno 2018 by Ital Design. I don't even know who that is. I've never even heard of that before. But as you can see, it's got 891 horsepower and only 2,600 pounds. That's good. It's not as good as the Imp, but to be fair, you can do that in real life, but you never would. So let's hop in this bad boy, and this thing it looks like it's out of an anime. I mean, look at the heads-up display. That's digital. That's not a gauge. That's like an LED screen. That is not a gauge. Oh man! All right, so the inside's cool looking, but the outside. Look at this thing. I would buy this just because it looks so awesome. I mean, it looks mean. It looks like something straight out of an 80s hybrid anime with like giant robots. You know what I mean? And it is great. But that's not why we're here. Because I want to drive a hypercar to wrap this up, but this is not the one. So I just want to watch this thing spin in a circle pretty much. Woo! Alright. So that's the one that I would say looks the coolest out of all the hypercars in here. Now, it's not the coolest, sadly, because coolest goes by, gotta go fast. And we're about to go pretty much as fast as we can. As far as I know, there is bigger and better cars. Like the Koenigsegg is pretty fast, but it's not the, what is it? Oh crap, I can't remember now. There's an entire brand of hypercar I don't even have in here. The Bugatti Chiron, I do not have those. Mostly because they're a lot. I could probably afford one of them, but we're going to drive, to wrap up this episode here, the Centenario LP 770-4, 2016 Lamborghini. And it's about as crazy as you can really get. Now, this game is not the latest Forza Horizon, for the record. This thing also looks pretty mean. Again, it's got that black chromatic kind of paint to it to make it look really sick nasty. But this is just an insane car. Wait, where are we going? Am I going the right way? No, I'm facing
Lynched another speed zone. Nice
Oh,
work.
Okay.
Kira says I can hook up the video feeds to the big screen at the festival, so listen for the cheers next time.
I'm going to listen for the cheers. All right, yeah. You unlock stuff the more you race. Obviously, this is a racing game. This thing almost does like a standing 180, though. All right, so let's see how fast this thing can go. Now, the benefit to a hypercar is that it's basically maximized the engine performance coupled with a maximized downforce, which means, like, it has brakes, obviously, but it's also utilizing the air itself to help keep it on the ground. Kind of like in the old Gran Turismo, the Subaru Escudo. If you messed with the settings on that right, it would literally just take off. Oh yeah. The game also has a rewind function. which I use to not die a horrible death. But let's see, we got 220, 230. See how fast we can get to this thing going. Oh, we're in 7th gear, capped at about... Oh, I think we just redlined there at 255. Oh, there goes all our speed. That's a shame. But this thing is insane. This would be a car that I would get immediately after the GTO if I had, like, infinite money. Because you kind of need infinite money to be able to afford something like this. And we're about to run out of road. Oh, and we're not dead. We're not dead. We got it. We're flying. Okay, we're good. We're good. Oh, man. Nothing like taking a corner at 200 miles an hour. That's what I mean about braking and downforce. Like, the GTO judge would just fly off into the sunset if you tried to take a corner at 200 miles an hour. That just wouldn't happen. And we're dead. And we're dead. And we're dead. Boom. That's it for you. You're dead, buddy. Alright, so now as we sit here in the wheat fields of life. Lovely. Let's, well... Oh, and that's awesome. It actually left a trail of destruction behind me. That's great. We'll leave this episode here. We'll pick this episode up next week, and we'll do a couple of races and stuff. And that'll probably be it for this, because this game is a lot of racing and a lot of stuff. And after a while, you know, hearing cars drone on and on can get a little aggravating. So I'm only going to do like 2 episodes of this. So that being said, thank you everybody so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, and get subscribed. Let me know down in the comment section below what you thought about my gameplay, my commentary, or anything else in general. And that being said, thanks for watching, and as usual, I'll catch you all on the flip side.